Hey everybody, Mike Chipperini at Chipper's Island Adventures, and today I'm going to remove the fresh water filter from my Winnebago Travato 59K. So hey everybody, I'm going to remove my fresh water filter canister because I really don't use it. I tend to filter the water before it even gets inside my rig, and then I don't even drink it. I only use it for washing dishes and showering. So I don't need that water filter. It holds a lot of water, and it also holds a lot of antifreeze when you're winterizing for the season. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now this job is fairly easy. And one way is to use a coupling to join the two pieces of 3/8 tubing. The other way is to just put a whole new hose in and bypass the water filter. And I'm going to show you the parts that you will probably need for this job. If you're going to do the bypass, you're going to need this here hose, which is a 30-inch, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch FIP fitting. The other way is you can use a 3/8 inch coupling such as this here, and this coupling basically connects the hose. This is where the water filter would be. You take the water filter out and you put this little piece in, and then you should be good to go. If you're going to use this, you may need this item, which you could use to cut the tubing, and you might want some of this, and it's a lubricant that you can put on the tubing before you insert it in. Now this is something a plumber told me, and that way there will keep everything fairly flexible. It doesn't dry out on you, and it gives a better seal. So the 59K water filter is located under the driver's bed in this compartment right here, of which you have to remove the door. It pops right off, and inside a light should come on, and you can see the water filter right there. Now I'm going to remove the whole housing. In order to do that, that means I have to get at the screws on the housing. So I think I'm going to remove this little tub, and that'll take a couple seconds, and then I can have better access to the housing. So I've lifted up the bunk in order to have access to the screws, and now I'm just going to take the screws out just so I can remove this. And this here will allow me to have easier access to the water filter. That's the only reason why I'm removing this, and I'll put it back in after. Okay. And as you can see, there's the water filter. Now you'll notice there's a red button on top. So what you want to do is press that red button, and that'll relieve the pressure on the water filter. And then you can turn the water filter lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So turn it to the left, and that water filter should come off. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to press the button, relieve the pressure, and I've already loosened it a little bit, and that should spin right off like so. So there you go. Now I've already emptied it, so I'm kind of simulating here. Now what I'm going to do is unscrew the two screws right there so I can slide the canister top up. Just to make things easier, if you push in on this, if you push in here, this hose comes out. Watch. Push in and it comes apart. And it does make it easier to deal with this. So here is the top of the filter. The other end of the hose, if you follow it back, is way back here. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that one. And now I have it off. And then I'll deal with that in a second. Okay, so here we have the water filter housing. So what I did underneath is I loosened the screws, I slid this up so it popped off. I disconnected one end and I disconnected the other end. So that's basically the way it went inside, like so. And that came down below, and that's what it looks like up against the wall. And I should say kind of like this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect this to the fittings that I just took that off of, and this will replace where the water filter went. All right, so of course it's never easy. So one of the things I just did is I went ahead and removed the back access panel here under the sink in order to get to the line that goes to the faucet. So this is the line that goes to the faucet, and this is the new line here. Okay, and I had to remove this access and another piece of wood. So now I'm going to go ahead and feed this all back through and then attach it at the other end. Okay, so as you can see, I've now reconnected this end, and now I'm going to go underneath and connect the other end. This is your hot water supply. While I was in here, I made sure these are nice and snug, and as always, they needed a little bit of snugging. So it's good to pull all that off and check it now and then, and just make sure everything's snugged up nice and neat. As will happen sometimes, the video I took of me disconnecting the water filter from the supply line and the line to the faucet was corrupted. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the best I can with this video that follows right now of how I disconnected it and connected it. So things happen, bear with me, all the best. So what I want to show you is how this filter went in. So here's the line where the filter went to. I took that off, and now you can see the braided line is now attached. And then it went up top and across, I don't know if you can see that, and into this back area. You can see the hose going back there, and the braided coil line now goes there, or the braided hose line now goes there. But let me take this filter off. I'm going to take it out. Now you should get a better view. You can see this here line goes up, it loops back around and goes way up and back here. Now that explains why I had to take off the faucet conduit, because that line goes up behind the conduit, and looking above the bunk, it goes right up and through here and then into the faucet. So that's why I took that off. But it's a very simple install. All you have to do is disconnect the water filter, one end here, and then one end up here in the back. But it's easier to, it's okay to disconnect it this way, but when you connect this coil hose, it's a lot easier to pull off the conduit and reattach it that way and then feed it back through. That's a lot easier, I found. Okay, so I'm going to have my video partner go ahead and turn on the cold water to make sure we don't have any leaks. Okay, turn it off. And that feels great. This hose is really, really good. Look at that. Have the big water filter right here. Now we have this nice, easy braided hose that will last a long, long time. And that's where the water goes through now. No leaks. I consider that a successful mission. So now I'm going to put everything back together, and I'll show you how I do that real quickly. First thing I'm going to do is put on this plumbing conduit. This is only held in by a couple of screws, but I just want to make sure the holes all line up nice and neat. Okay, so once we get that piece in, now we're going to put in this other piece, which is just basically a bed rest for the mattress. But as you can see, once it's in, it locks in that piece. That's why I had to remove it. So we'll just go ahead. There's like 6 screws here for this. I'll go ahead and put those on. And the last thing we're going to do is put this cover on that goes in here. And as you can see, it goes approximately like so. So the reason why I had to remove this is because I couldn't get that out. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this down. Should fit okay. So as you can see, we got it all put back together. I haven't got any leaks. And the water is running fine, as you can see. One thing you want to do when you're putting this tub back, if you pull that out, is make sure the holes line back up, because each one is in a different place, so you got to make sure the corner is at the right corner. And this is the last piece to be put back on. Nice and easy. So that one 30-inch hose has now replaced all this. I no longer have to worry about this. This is about a quart of fluid, and that's about a quart of antifreeze fluid that would have been sitting in there for the winter. So for some it may be easier just to use a coupling. For others, you may want to use that 30-inch, half-inch to half-inch hose. And that works great. It's a braided hose. It lasts a long time, so you may feel safer that way. But that's totally up to you which way you want to go. So that's it for today. If you like this video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel. All the best to all, and happy RV.